You've probably heard it before. If you want her to think about you, you've got to do something special. But what does that actually mean? What makes someone think about you in a way that's not fleeting, but lasting? It's not about playing games or pretending to be something you're not. It's about tapping into something deeper. Your intentionality, your authenticity, and the mystery you create by being present without being overly available. The truth is, we're drawn to people who make us feel something different, something meaningful. And if you want her to think about you non-stop, it's not about texting every minute, trying to impress, or being constantly on her mind. Instead, it's about how you live and how you carry yourself. This is the secret to making her not just think about you, but truly feel you. The art of being confidently detached. One of the most powerful things you can do is show her that you have a life of your own, a life that is fulfilling and independent of her attention. Confidence is magnetic, and it doesn't come from needing validation. It comes from knowing that you're complete with or without her. And here's the kicker. When you show her that you have your own passions, goals, and dreams, she starts to wonder, what's so special about him? What's he up to when I'm not around? This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about living your life with purpose. When you invest in yourself, when you don't let your happiness hinge on her attention, you create an air of mystery. And mystery is what makes people think about you. Not because you're hard to get, but because you're someone who knows their worth and isn't afraid to live it out loud. Building emotional connection without overexposure. It's easy to mistake attention for connection, but they're not the same thing. You might be sending her text after text, trying to keep the conversation going, thinking you're building a connection. But in reality, you're giving away too much of yourself too soon, which can actually backfire. The key to making her think about you nonstop isn't about saying everything on your mind. It's about leaving some things unsaid, some spaces for curiosity. I once met someone who, at first, I thought was just another guy trying to impress. He would text a lot, talk a lot about himself, and try to keep me engaged. But after a while, I started to realize something. He was sharing everything, leaving no room for me to wonder. It wasn't until he stopped constantly reaching out that I began to think about him. Why? Because suddenly I was left wondering, what's he doing? What's he thinking? So when you give her space to think about you, instead of bombarding her with constant messages or overwhelming her with your presence, you're giving her a chance to miss you. And missing someone is often the first step to deeper emotional connection. Give her just enough to stay intrigued, but not enough to feel like she knows everything. Show, don't tell, the power of your actions. Words can be powerful, but actions are even more impactful. If you want her to think about you non-stop, show her that you're someone who is both thoughtful and unpredictable. People remember how you make them feel, not just what you say. And how you make someone feel doesn't always happen in a grand gesture. It happens in the small, consistent actions that show you care, that you're present, and that you have depth. Think about the times when you've been drawn to someone. Was it because they said all the right things? Or was it because they did things that made you feel seen, heard, and respected? I remember a time when I was struggling with something personal, and a friend, without any dramatic gesture, simply listened, and followed up a few days later. It wasn't the most extravagant thing, but it made me think about them for days. They hadn't tried to impress me with big words or overwhelming attention. They simply showed up in a way that felt genuine and meaningful. So how can you show up in a way that makes her think about you nonstop? Start by doing small, meaningful things. Thoughtful texts, checking in when you know she's facing something difficult, or even surprising her with something unexpected. Your actions will speak louder than any message you could send. The balance of intrigue and transparency. One of the most captivating things you can do is be genuine without revealing every part of yourself all at once. It's not about playing games, but about maintaining a healthy balance of transparency and intrigue. If you're constantly revealing everything about yourself, your deepest thoughts, every little thing that happens in your day, she's going to get a full picture of you too quickly. It might be interesting at first, but soon there's no mystery left. I once had a friend who was genuinely intriguing. She didn't share everything about her life immediately. There were layers to her, and every time we hung out, there was something new I learned about her. It wasn't because she was withholding, it was because she knew how to reveal pieces of herself gradually, creating a sense of curiosity and excitement. When you maintain that sense of mystery, by not spilling everything all at once, you make her want to know more. And the more she wants to know, the more often she'll think about you. The key here is balance. Be open enough to show you're trustworthy and real, but keep enough back to make her want to discover more. Confidence, independence, and respect, the foundation of attraction. Ultimately, if you want her to think about you non-stop, it's about building attraction through confidence, independence, and respect. When you respect her space, her individuality, and yourself, you naturally draw her in. Confidence doesn't mean being cocky or overly assertive. It means being comfortable with who you are, knowing that you don't need to constantly chase after attention or validation. In my own experience, the times I've been most drawn to someone weren't the times when they were constantly trying to impress me. They were the times when they stood firm in who they were. When they didn't need my attention to feel valuable, when they were doing their own thing and living life fully. That's what made me want to be a part of their world, and that's what made me think about them. So if you want her to think about you non-stop, focus on being the best version of yourself. Be confident, be independent, and be genuine. When you stop chasing her and start focusing on your own life, that's when the real attraction starts to build. Conclusion: become irresistibly magnetic. So here's the secret. If you want her to think about you non-stop, don't try to force it. Be the person who has their own life, their own passions, and their own confidence. Show her that you're someone who adds value to her life without being overly available. Create curiosity, build emotional connections with authenticity, and let your actions speak louder than words. When you do this, she won't just think about you in passing. She'll think about you in a way that's lasting, real, and magnetic. And in that, you'll have created something far more powerful than any message you could ever send. You've got this.